Good evening, everyone, and welcome, and happy Valentine's Day. We're going to be led in the Pledge of Allegiance by Mrs. Green.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing for a moment of silence. Thank you. Okay.
Roll call, Ms. Clerk.
Ms. Burton? Mr. Durant?
Present.
Ms. Green? Here. Mr. Howard?
Here.
Mr. Lamar?
Here.
Mr. Levinstein?
Here.
Ms. Minero?
Here.
Mr. Stridiron? Mr. Walker?
Here.
I'm going to turn this over to Dr. Minnie Campbell.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome. We will begin tonight's board meeting with a presentation from Barnetown.
Good evening. Good evening, Madam President, to all of our board members, Dr. Mandy Campbell, Executive Cabinet, and to all of our community members. Thank you for this opportunity. For the next few minutes, I will share with you and just take you into some of the moments at Barnetown Leadership Academy. Ooh, I'm empowered by the clicker. Thank you. Thank you. So it is a great opportunity. Also, I want to thank some of our staff members here from Barnetown that came to support me on Love Day. So we are grateful. So Barnetown Leadership Academy, who are we and what do we do? Oops, no, that's an audio right there. Mr. Nimble, can you assist with that, sir? Can you assist with that? Link? So maybe you didn't hear it, but who are we? Gardentown. What do we do? Grow, lead, and achieve. And that's our saying, our mantra that we say with our students daily, keeping our focus that we are there to grow academically and socially, lead as leaders, and achieve. Growing, leading, and achieving at GLA, empowering student voice. We do have at this time multiple news anchor teams. We have Catholic Couriers, grades 3 through 5. We will be conducting a job fair in March for our additional leadership teams. The student leadership team, Kindness Ambassadors, GLA events team, and our tech squad. Growing, leading, and achieving at GLA, encouraging talent in the arts. Okay, well, the clip, unfortunately, you're not able to see it at this time, was a clip of one of our students who composed one of his songs and played his song at the winter concert. So unfortunately, we are not able to see that at this time. Growing, leading, and achieving at GLA, celebrating and recognizing our leaders. Every month we host a leadership assembly where we highlight a leadership quality for our leaders. Today, actually, we had our January leadership assembly where we honored our students and gave them our certificates as well as photographs and pencils, and we are keeping that before our students so they are thriving and striving for leadership and leadership qualities among our leaders and students. Encouraging talent in the arts through our music program, 4th and 5th grade chorus. I am not sure if this will work, but Mr. Neville, if you can attempt to play this, please. Oh, And here's a short video highlighting and hearing from some of our leaders at Gardner Town School.
The reason that I love Gardner Town is because the teachers love us, they care about us. They won't just let us sit in the corner and do nothing. They'll help us out with like the problem. And they're not meaning, raise their voice for us or being sad. And they just care about us. And there's leaders everywhere. They're doing kind things. They help each other out. And that's one of the main reasons I like Gardner Town.
So why I like Gardner Town is because growing I just love that source of energy, and we comes up here with that this morning, and hopefully all the leaders, their kids, get like the same one. Hopefully they just don't have like a terrible day. Hopefully I just want them to have a good day, and like leaders, achievers, and growers. I think they're just amazing. The reason I love Gardner Town is because there's so much leaders in this building, and the people here will teach, and they make us learn beautiful things. And whenever the principal talks in the maths and everything, it just makes me feel really happy being here and all these leaders here, and everybody be courageous and have a leadership. And that is the reason why I love Gardner Town, because it's really beautiful here, and there's just a bunch of leaders here, and I love it.
So that concludes my presentation regarding Gardner Town Leadership Academy. I apologize for the audio not being as loud, but I just wanted to say a few things in conclusion. Number one, we've had the great opportunity of hosting tours in our building where families of prospective students coming in have visited our school. One of the things I have shared with our families that we are not in competition with any other school in our district, that our district is great and our district is fabulous, and that if they decide to choose any of our schools in Newburgh, they're choosing quality. However, if they do choose Gardner Town Leadership Academy, they will be exposed to greatness. We've heard some of the families that have visited our school this year really discussing with us how they feel in our hallways, sense of peace, the sense of calm, sense of love. And lastly, I will say this, is that I selected this day, February 14th. We had an option, but the reason I selected this day, number two reasons. The first one, just counted on my heart. It's wintertime. Maybe it would have been a snowstorm that would have canceled the BOE meeting tonight. So let's choose February 14th and wait for a nor'easter to return. But secondly, the real reason is that we are here because we love our students in the Newburgh Enlarged City School District. We love Gardner Town School. It is the reason why we go back every day. Our students are deserving of love. They are receiving love. They're receiving education. They're growing. They're leading, and they're achieving. and that is why we're here today. So once again, I want to thank you for your time, Madam President, Dr. Manny Campbell, board members and executive cabinet, and to our community and to our staff here from Garnertown Leadership Academy. Happy Love Day. We love what we do at Garnertown, we love what we do in Newburgh, and we are very fortunate to be here. Thank you very much and enjoy your evening.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Garnertown family and staff. Ms. Nielsen, please come up to do the recognition awards.
Good evening. Good evening. I have some documents to share with you first. I'm stalling because we're waiting on 2 students, so. Good evening. My name is Jennifer Nelson. I'm the director of DLA K-12, and I have the privilege of working with library media specialists in the district. I am honored to share with you the achievements of 5 Newburgh scholars whom the New York State Archives and Archives Partnership Trust recognized for their original historical research on a project called Newburgh My Home Community Project. The New York State Archives and Archives Partnership Trust sponsors an annual statewide historical research competition for students in grades 4 through 12. So the program's primary purpose is to encourage students to explore the wealth of historical records held in historical records repositories in New York State. The program also increases cooperation between schools and organizations that administer historical records useful for education. Under the guidance of Mrs. Michelle Wright Jump, the talented library media specialist at Horizons on the Hudson Elementary School, 5 scholars received an honorable mention for their original historical research. I'd like to take this time to invite Ms. Wright Jump to the podium to give you a very brief overview of the students' work as well as the community partnership collaborations.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
So our scholars here are part of a bigger project called Newburgh My Home Community Spotlight. It is actually the brainchild of Miss Lisa, who is head of youth services at Newburgh Free Library. We've collaborated on iterations of this project since 2013, so it's a long-standing project. And the project is aimed at shining a light on the history of, as well as the positive people and places here in the city. Our scholars chose a place or a person in Newburgh. They conducted research, they created a collage and a written piece. 3rd and 4th grades created I Love This Place in Newburgh blurbs. 5th grade created historical poems in the form of riddles. And Mrs. Garcia and Mr. Clark, 6th grade enrichment class at South Middle School, actually joined us and did a walking tour of an installment by the Newburgh Community Photo Project. There's also a memory lane section of this project with the inaugural scholars and project from 2013 and 12-13. The 5 scholars here wanted to dig deeper and they made a real connection, so they created ebooks and submitted it to the student research contest. One book was called The City of Newburgh Fire Department, done by Nike. Okay. And the other book was Elizabeth Curtin, Servant and Teacher and Her School for Black Children, done by Lucy, I don't think she's here yet. And by Royal, I'm not sure if he's. Okay. And the other book was The Newburgh Beacon Bridge by Aidan, who I think is here, and Derek. Okay. So scholars, your commitment to learning new things, your intellectual curiosity, and helping the community understand who and what shaped it are the deliberate actions that brought you here today. thank you for creating new content that we all can consume, and you are now a model, I think, that we can all emulate as we do research. The project, I think, is a great example of how school librarians, school libraries, in concert with classroom teachers and community partners, can facilitate together great research. We want to thank all the partners, some of whom are here. None of this would have been possible without them. So I'd like to ask them to stand here today. This is Dolphinger, the educator who had those students last year. Miss Shirley, who's not here, she's also an educator. Parent liaison, Mrs. Clark. Miss Lisa from the Public Library, I'm not sure if she's here. Our ITF, Mrs. Mary Scott. Mr. Vince Gianni, founder and director of the Newburgh Community Folder Project. Mrs. McTemney, historian. Jeff Doolittle, archivist of the Historical Society. And scholars, my parents would say, and some of yours would say, go on and do it. And that really means go ahead and do your thing. You're going to create a great world. I think you're going to leave this world a better place. Thank you.
So at this time, we're going to present the awards to the students. So the first student is Royal Dennis, who received honorable mention. Come on up, Royal. He's not here. Oh, he's not here. Royal was here. I apologize. Mikey Goldfarb, please come up. Honorable mention for a project on the City of Newburgh Fire Department. So our next student is Aiden Cahoon. Aiden earned honorable mention for his project on the construction of the Newburgh Beacon Bridge. And I would also like to mention the other recipients who unfortunately are not present today. Royal Dennis, who also received honorable mention for the project on Elizabeth Burton, servant and teacher of the School for Black Children. And Jared Royal, perfect. Who also received honorable mention for a project on Elizabeth Burton, servants, teacher, and school for Black children, as well as Jared Houston, who also did a project on the Newburgh Beacon Bridge. Thank you very much.
So I think in honor of the day, we have two really nice short presentations. Thank you. Congratulations, Garden Town, and congratulations many people from South and Horizons. Nice job. We're going to now go into executive session. Be it resolved that the Board of Education hereby, of course, this is when my mouth starts, hereby recesses into executive session for the following purpose. Matter being confidential in the FERPA, employment history of particular individuals, employment history of particular corporations, matters leading to the employment of particular individuals, the review of programs and placements of students with disabilities, collective bargaining under the TELA law, and to obtain advice from legal counsel. I'd like to entertain a motion, please. Roll call.
Mr. Durant?
Yeah.
Ms. Green?
Yes.
Mr. Howard?
Yes.
Mr. Lamar?
Yes.
Mr. Levinstein?
Yes.
Ms. Venero?
Yes.
Mrs. Straight Iron? Mr. Walker?
Yes.
We'll be back in about an hour. Good evening. I'm going to turn this over to our superintendent of schools, Dr. Manny Campbell.
Thank you. Good evening, Madam President. I have some brief announcements tonight before I present my items. The district has received a small handful of concerns from families recently that have escalated to my office to the point that I feel a few reminders should be shared within our community. There are both communication and investigatory protocols in place that are standard for any organization when a complaint is received. Any concern should initially be brought to the attention of the school building or where the issue originated. If the concern is not resolved at that level, there are additional levels to address the concern that may vary based on the matter. Escalating a concern to the level of the superintendent's office is typically the last resort. The schools have more information and can resolve the issue much more quickly and appropriately, whereas the superintendent's office is used as the final level of review. I recognize that there are scenarios that do not resolve to the satisfaction of everyone involved. That does not mean that the matter was not handled appropriately. For all concerned, the district follows the student code of conduct. I would like to read an excerpt from the first section of that document. Student discipline and support policies and practices will be implemented in a manner which is caring and equitable, respectful, and based on trust among administration, staff, students, and families, and holds all individuals accountable, but is restorative and solutions-oriented rather than punitive. The district believes that order and discipline must be a shared responsibility between school, home, and community. This statement means that although discipline will likely be implemented, the district approach is not simply punitive. The overall goal is to find the root of the behavior and a supportive approach to address the behavior for a welcoming, safe, and cohesive learning environment for every student. We expect students, families, and faculty and staff to work together to support this overall goal. We each play a critical role in supporting our children. The Code of Conduct is reviewed every year. Families who would like to provide input can contact Dr. Raymond Mack, our Assistant Superintendent of Equity and Access. On to more celebratory items. I received a message from NFA Boys Swimming head coach Zach Williams last week that I'd like to share with you. As you know, the power went out during the regional swim meet that we hosted recently. This is from Coach Williams. It is important to me to recognize our security team for their efforts throughout the entire day and meet, not just when we had our issues with the power. They dealt with teams coming earlier than allowed, buses getting lost, coaches using the wrong entry doors, spectators arriving early along with the normal end-of-day procedures at NFA Main. They checked in over 150 athletes, coaches, officials, and over 240 spectators with the greatest efficiency and professionalism. I had coaches and parents from Cornwall, New Paltz, Kingston, Rhinebeck, and Marlborough come to me to praise our guards. Thank you to Coach Williams for taking the time to recognize our outstanding security staff. And as always, thank you to our security team for your continued professionalism. And I happen to have been there that night with one of the board members, and I will say I echo that statement. We have congratulations to share. Congratulations to the NFA Boys Swimming team for coming in first place in the OCIAA Division I Championships after an undefeated season. Cole Malarkey for coming in first in diving and even Dominico, Jackson Gearbest, Angelo Reed, Jack Munnery for their first place finish in the 200 freestyle relay. In wrestling, Cooper Murray, Joseph Ponez, and Will Soto are heading to states. Over the weekend, Cooper came in first place at sections for his weight class, and Joseph and Will came in second place for their respective weight classes. 4 NFA bowlers have qualified to compete in the state competition in March. Congratulations to Kevin Novella, Gage Shimanovich, Catherine Bell, and Gianna Alessandra. NFA football captain Elijah Bevier has accepted a football scholarship to play at the University of New Haven. Excellent. 24 budget.
Thank you, Dr. Campbell. Good evening, Board of Education. This evening, I'm going to provide an update on where we are in the development process for our fiscal 24. So in the presentation this evening, we're going to review the board and superintendent goals, the budget priorities, a process update, mandated expenses, some of the restricted funds that we have, and an initial look at the skating projection based on the governor's budget.
Thank you. So every one of our budget presentations will include my goals, the Board of Education goals, and we will focus on equity and access and ensuring that our students, that we are enabling our students to achieve their fullest potential while upholding our fiduciary responsibility to the public. We are going to analyze our programs, and throughout this presentation and the subsequent ones, you will see that we are utilizing our budget by school, by student need, and not necessarily as a one-size-fits-all approach. So our budget priorities will be literacy of our students, sustaining programs that the one-time COVID relief funds have ended. We have to make sure that we can sustain our programs. We know that we receive a certain amount of monies from the government, and we want to ensure that we roll our programs and these initiatives into our general fund. Safety and security of our students and staff is also one of our most important priorities.
So this year's budget development process was an inclusive process. The principals and directors had the opportunity to develop a budget request for their building, as well as submit additional funding and minor maintenance requests. Updates are being provided during the budget development process. We're also going through an extensive staff verification process, including vacancies and grant funded positions, and doing a review of the one-time funded positions and retirements. Where we are right now, all buildings and departments have submitted their budget requests. They've been incorporated into our financial software. Additional funding and minor maintenance requests have been submitted, reviewed, and compiled. And then our staffing verification process is continuing.
Equity in our budget. So our building allocations are essentially based on our student building enrollment. We will not have the same budget for Temple that we have for Bonneville. We will ensure that it's based on our student enrollment. We are also reviewing our resources that are available for our L students, our in-district programs of special education, to ensure that we are spending appropriately for our student learners. We are utilizing data-driven staffing, particularly in areas such as support staff or AIS for our students. What does that mean? It means that we will not do this, because it's an AIS staff member, every single building receives 2 or 3. We're really looking to allocate appropriately based on student need. Establishing student and staffing ratios by grade level so that we have a minimum course enrollment for electives. For instance, we cannot afford to run classes with 8 or 9 students. We know that there's a fiscal implication for our budget, and perhaps we need to do a better job, for lack of a better word, of scheduling our classes. We're also analyzing our vacancies and retirements to determine, do we need these positions? How are we backfilling for instruction as well as our operations? Are these positions what we need in our district to move our students and our scholars forward? What positions will have attrition? As of February 10th, we have 10 retirements from the NCA and 3 for CSEA. And this list will grow as we continue to receive notification from our staff members.
So as part of our budget review, we also have some mandated expenditures, which include tuition for some of our out-of-district placements, charter school students, and BOCES programming. We also look at our special education programming, our ENL services, based on our student need and population, testing requirements, insurance, legal fees, transportation, contractual salary increases, and also health insurance and retirement benefits for our staff.
There are some restricted and one-time funds that are accounted for. So the restricted funds are the contract for excellence set aside that's within the district's total foundation aid amount. This amount remains the same for next year. Community schools is an additional set aside within the district's total foundation aid amount. It also remains the same for the next fiscal year. We have two sources of one-time funds. One is the Coronavirus Response and Relief Supplemental Appropriations, or CRSA funds, which expire September of 2023. We're going to finalize the spending on that and submit final cost reports by next fall. The American Recovery Plan expires in September of 2024, so those funds will be available for us and in use as we plan for our 23-24 school year. The contract for excellence is a little less than $9.4 million. Again, it is a set aside within the district's foundation aid amount. It's not additional funds. This was set up in 2007-08 with the New York State budget, and the set aside amount has remained constant since 2012-13. We are reviewing how these funds will be used in 23-24 to best support our students, and the 5 areas we have focused on over the last number of years include time on task, teacher and principal quality, middle school and high school restructuring, full-day pre-K and kindergarten, as well as model programs for our ELO students. Our community school set aside is about $837,000. That amount has also remained constant. Again, this is not new or additional funds, it's a portion of our foundation aid. It's historically been used to support social and emotional learning. We have funded 2 school psychologists and 6 social workers through these funds. For the 23-24 school year, we're going to review the various categories of allowable expenses to determine if all of these funds will continue to be solely dedicated to supporting SEL, or if we will reallocate a portion of those funds to support after-school programs, parent engagement, or additional E&L supports for our students. The one-time federal funds, the Coronavirus Response and Relief Supplemental Appropriations, or CRSA Act that expires next fall, those positions will be moving to the general fund or the American Recovery Plan for 23-24, so that we can continue. During the 21-22 and 22-23 school years, these CRSA dollars have supported substitute expenses, stipends that have been established due to COVID procedures, technology purchases, transportation for summer school and after-school activities, tennis or outdoor learning spaces, new HVAC equipment. The American Recovery Plan funds that expire in the fall of 2024 will be a part of our 23-24 planning. At this time, there are 80 positions that will be paid through the American Recovery Plan funds next year. These are listed here. Transportation for after-school programming, as well as substitute expenses, additional technology purchases, including hardware and software, as well as SEL supports, social emotional learning supports for our staff, training, and software. The governor has issued her proposed budget, and in the governor's proposed budget, here you will see that there are increases in several categories and decreases in others, but there's also a new set aside. As part of the governor's budget, we now have a third mandated set aside within our foundation aid that is just over $2.7 million. It is for high impact tutoring, and the governor has defined this as required focus on assisting students in grades 3 through 8. Students will receive additional instructional time that's customized to their individual needs. And effective programs will include multiple sessions per week and lead to meaningful relationships between students and tutors. Overall, at first blush, this is about a $28.5 million increase. Our next steps, we're going to continue our detailed staffing verification, including review of our vacancies, retirements, and sources of funds for each position. Work on the tax cap calculation that's due on March 1st. Review the additional funding requests and minor maintenance requests to make determinations on funding, prepare initial budget and revenue estimate to share with the board, and work towards finalizing our master schedule.
Board members, do you have any questions for Ms. Warren or Dr. Kennedy? Yes, Mr. Whitaker. Please turn your mic.
I'm just wondering if there's a rationale for the tutoring expenses just going for grades 3 through 8, or not, or some in the high school already.
So the high impact tutoring set aside of $2.7 million, the governor has directed that those will only be source to grades 3 through 8. So the district can do additional supports at the high school level, but those resources are specific to grades 3 through 8.
Board members, yes, Mr. Lamont.
I'm a little concerned that we've got positions that are tied to the ARP funds, because when those funds go away, either we have to move more money or those positions go away, and I don't think either one of those is the way that we should be heading.
So I'll begin to address that. Yes, we have about 80 positions that we are looking at, and so what we are doing when folks leave as well as retire, we're ensuring that we don't necessarily have to backfill if we have to backfill those positions. So we're really taking a close look in terms of how we create positions, how we fill positions, and just understanding in terms of master scheduling what positions we really need and how many we need to fill. There is a plan moving forward that we are going to address some of those positions in our budget, and we've asked for administrators to really take a hard look at what they're requesting moving forward. I don't know if you want to ask. Thank you.
Board members, any other questions? Thank you. You have one more item?
Thank you. Thanks, Ms. Morrow. For item 3.2, Mr. Ed Forget, our Deputy Superintendent, will review the proposed district calendar for the 23-24 school year.
Thank you, Dr. Campbell. This evening, we are presenting for your review, not approval, the 23-24 district calendar. It is composed of 184 instructional days and 4 superintendent conference days, which means there will be 4 emergency days put into that calendar. Again, this is just for your review. If you have any comments or any questions or recommendations, we're here to hear those. The community has an opportunity now also to see this and ask their questions and provide their comments. And then at the February 28th meeting, we hope to bring for final approval the 23-24 calendar.
Mr. Ford, can you clarify how the community has to do their input?
How they have to do their work?
How they can?
There are, my email address is on the district website. You are more than welcome to email me any questions you have with regard to the calendar. I will then sit down with the team and we'll review those requests and considerations and take them seriously to see if we can accommodate what you're asking for.
Board members, do you have any questions or comments on the calendar? Has to be Mr. Nichols.
So highlights of calendar. In February, we do have the winter break. We have obviously the winter break in December and spring break in March this year, in next year. We will be adding 2 additional half days for next year. We are in the process of planning those 2 half days out. And once again, we want to be able to bring a calendar that does not have to be approved multiple times. So we're just trying to figure out the 2 additional half days. Any questions?
Questions, board members? Yes, Mr. Walker.
Yes, I can tell, is there, has it been taken into consideration with the date Ramadan and fall in the industry?
I believe that would be April 10th.
No, there's none.
Thank you.
Board members, any other questions? Thank you. Ms. Green?
When is the first day of school and when does school end? First and last day, I can't see it up there.
Sure. The first day of school would be September 1st, but that's the superintendent's conference day on a Friday, which is Labor Day weekend. September 4th, Monday would be Labor Day, and the first day for students would be Tuesday, September 5th. The last day of school would be late in June. It would be Wednesday, June 26th.
Thank you.
Board members, any other questions or comments from the calendar? Thank you. Any comments?
Sorry. Thank you, Madam President. That concludes my items this evening.
I'm going to go back to public comments that's on agenda items. We have no one signed up for agenda items. We do have another section at the end of the meeting for non-agenda items which people have signed up for. So we're going to continue with our meetings. There's no one signed up for agenda items. Would anybody in the audience like to speak on agenda items only? Thank you. We're going to move on to my section. I have items 4.1 through 4.3 for you tonight. Would any member like to separate out any item? I'd like to entertain a motion, please.
Second.
Questions or discussion? Yes, sir?
So on 4.3, I do understand that it's an interscholastic athletic competition, but my question is the first sentence that you added on, the board is committed to providing a safe and secure environment the board is committed to providing a safe and secure environment for students, staff, and visitors to athletic events on school grounds. Should it say all events on school grounds and not just athletic? I understand it's an athletic policy, but
Mr. Ford, would you like to answer that one, please?
Again, this policy specifically speaks to interscholastic athletic competitions. So it's up to the board if they would like to do it.
So if you would like to adjust it, you have to make a resolution, you have to make a resolution to amend.
I would like to make a resolution to amend this policy to
And
include
this-
the word all instead of athletic.
I need a second. Excuse me? Mr. DeRay seconding it. Okay, so now I have, so we have to vote the amendment. Can I roll call on the amendment?
Point of information, Madam President.
Yes, sir.
So what are we striking, what are we adding?
He wants to add, instead of athletic events, all events, even though this says interscholastic athletic competition.
Thank you.
Okay? So roll call, please.
Mr. Maneo?
No.
Mrs. Striga? Mr. Walker?
Pass.
Mr. Duray?
Yes.
Ms. Green?
No.
Mr. Howard?
Yes.
Mr. Lamar?
Yes.
Mr. Levinstein?
Yes.
That item did not pass. So we're going to go back to all the resolutions 4.1 through 4.3. We have a motion on the floor. Are there any other questions for those resolutions? Roll call, Ms. Clerk.
Mr. Duray?
Yes.
Ms. Green?
Yes.
Mr. Howard?
Yes.
Mr. Lamar?
Yes.
Mr. Levinstein?
Yes.
Ms. Maneo?
Yes.
Mr. Walker?
Yes.
I have a resolution to add to the agenda. I'm going to read it and then I'm going to ask for A motion to add. Be it resolved that the board hereby upholds the determination of the superintendent of schools in the education law section 3214 appeal of student number 220515 regarding incident number 2023-1723 based upon conducting a whole record review of this appeal. I'd like to entertain a motion to add this to the agenda. Roll call to add.
Ms. Green?
Yes.
Mr. Howard?
Yes.
Mr. Lamar?
Yes.
Mr. Levinstein?
Yes.
Ms. Mineo?
Yes.
Mr. Walker?
Yes.
Mr. Duray?
Yes.
I'd like to entertain a motion, please.
So moved.
Second.
Questions or discussion on this item? Roll call, Ms. Clerk, sorry.
Mr. Howard?
Yes.
Mr. Lamar?
Yes.
Mr. Levinstein?
Yes.
Ms. Mineo?
Yes.
Mr. Walker?
Yes.
Ms. Green?
Yes.
Mr. Duray?
Yes.
Thank you. We're going to move on to board committees. First, we're going to talk about curriculum and instruction committee. Ms. Green.
There was a meeting last week, and I'm going to refer that now over to Ms. Moriarty.
Thank you, Ms. Green. All the items on the agenda this evening were discussed, as well as we had a presentation from our math director, Mr. Ritaka, talking about our K-12 math program.
Thank you. Policy committee, Mr. Howard.
Thank you, Madam President. The Policy Committee, we met on February 9th. We had a discussion around moving policies from the website to board docs. And those items were voted on tonight, number 4410 and number 2431. We also had a discussion around review of regulations. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Howard. We're going to move on to audit and finance committee, Mr. Levinstein.
Thank you, Madam President. The Audit and Finance Committee met at 5 p.m. tonight to discuss the 17 resolutions that are on tonight's finance agenda. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Levinstein. We're going to move on to our Assistant Superintendent for Curriculum and Instruction Elementary, Mrs. Moriarty.
Thank you, Madam President. Elementary curriculum instruction presents items 6.1 through 6.3 for your consideration this evening.
Would any member like to separate out any of these items? Yes, sir?
6.3.
I'd like to entertain a motion on 6.1 and 6.2, please.
So moved.
Questions or discussion on these items? Roll call on 6.1 and 6.2.
Mr. Lamar?
Yes.
Mr. Levinstein?
Yes.
Ms. Mineo?
Yes.
Mr. Walker?
Yes.
Mr. Duray?
Yes.
Ms. Green?
Yes.
Mr. Howard?
We're going to move on to item 6.3. I'd like to entertain a motion, please.
So moved.
Second.
Questions or discussion? Yes, Mr. Lamar?
I'm just wondering, is this work that these people are going to be doing at a percentage of recapture funds? Right, sounds like a plan. Is that something that's being done by someone in the district right now that we've been trying to achieve and they can do it better, or is this just lost money?
Mr. Ford?
This is an outside vendor that we work with for many years to do Medicaid billing in coordination with the district.
Any other questions on this item? Roll call, Ms. Clerk.
Mr. Levinstein?
Yes.
Ms. Mineo?
Yes.
Mr. Walker?
Yes.
Mr. Duray?
Yes.
Ms. Green?
Yes.
Mr. Howard?
Yes.
Mr. Lamar?
Yes.
Thank you, Madam President. That concludes my items.
We're going to thank you, Ms. Moriarty. We're going to move on to our Assistant Superintendent for Curriculum and Instruction Secondary, Dr. Farrell.
Thank you, Madam President. We have items 7.1 through 7.4 for your consideration this evening.
Would any member like to separate out any of these items? I'd like to entertain a motion, please.
So moved.
Questions or discussion? Roll call, Ms. Clerk.
Ms. Mineo?
Yes.
Mr. Walker?
Yes.
Mr. Duray?
Yes.
Ms. Green?
Yes.
Mr. Howard? Mr. Lamar?
Yes.
Mr. Levinstein?
Yes.
Thank you, Madam President. That concludes our items this evening.
Thank you, Dr. Farrell. We're going to move on to our Assistant Superintendent for Exceptional Learners, who's being sat in for tonight by Dr. Freeman Mack.
Thank you, Madam President. We have item 8.1 for your consideration this evening.
I'd like to entertain a motion, please.
Second.
Questions or discussion on this item? Roll call, Ms. Clerk.
Mr. Walker?
Yes.
Mr. Duray?
Yes.
Ms. Green? Yes. Mr. Howard?
Yes.
Mr. Lamar?
Yes.
Mr. Levinson?
Yes.
Ms. Mineo?
Yes.
Madam President, may I have permission to add an item?
Would you read the resolution for us, please?
Yes. Resolution to authorize the superintendent of schools to execute a settlement agreement. Be it resolved that the board hereby approves a settlement agreement dated February 10, 2023 in the matter of student number 021423, and be it further resolved that the superintendent of schools is hereby authorized to sign said settlement on the district's behalf.
Thank you. I'd like to entertain a motion to add this to the agenda, please.
So, second.
Roll call to add.
Mr. Duray?
Yes.
Ms. Green? Yes. Mr. Howard?
Yes.
Mr. Lamar?
Yes.
Mr. Levinson?
Yes.
Ms. Mineo?
Yes.
Mr. Walker?
Yes.
I'd like to entertain a motion, please.
Second.
Questions or discussion on this item? Roll call, Ms. Clerk.
Ms. Green? Yes. Mr. Howard?
Yes.
Mr. Lamar?
Yes.
Mr. Levinson?
Yes.
Ms. Mineo?
Yes.
Mr. Walker?
Yes.
Mr. Duray?
Yes.
Thank you, Madam President. That concludes my items.
Thank you, Dr. Freeman Mack. We're going to move on to our Assistant Superintendent for Finance, Ms. Rory.
Thank you, Madam President. The Division of Finance presents items 9.1 to 9.17 tonight for consideration.
Would any member like to separate out any items? Yes, Mr. Levinson.
9.9.
9.9, any others? I'd like to entertain a motion on 9.1 through 9.17 minus 9.9.
Second.
Questions or discussion on the bulk of the items? Roll call, Ms. Clerk.
Mr. Howard?
Yes.
Mr. Lamar?
Yes.
Mr. Levinson?
Yes.
Ms. Mineo?
Yes.
Mr. Walker?
Yes.
Mr. Duray?
Yes.
Ms. Green? Yes.
Let's move on to item 9.9. I'd like to entertain a motion, please.
Second.
Questions or discussion on 9.9? Roll call, Ms. Clerk.
Ms. Mineo?
Yes.
Mr. Walker?
Yes.
Mr. Duray?
Yes.
Ms. Green? Yes. Mr. Howard?
Yes.
Mr. Lamar?
Yes.
Mr. Levinson?
Thank you, Madam President. That concludes my items.
Thank you, Ms. Rory. We're going to move on to our Assistant Superintendent for Human Resources, Mr. McLemore.
Thank you, Madam President. On the Human Resources agenda, I have items 10.1 through 10.15 for your consideration on this meeting.
Would any member like to separate out any of these items? I'd like to entertain a motion, please.
Second.
Questions or discussion on any of the items? Roll call, Ms. Burke.
Mr. Walker?
Yes.
Mr. Duray?
Yes.
Ms. Green? Yes. Mr. Howard?
Yes.
Mr. Lamar?
Yes.
Mr. Levinson?
Yes.
Ms. Mineo?
Yes.
Thank you, Madam President. That concludes my items.
Thank you, Mr. McLemore. We're going to move on to the clerk of the board, Mrs. Novak.
Thank you, Madam President. I have two agenda items this evening. Agenda item 11.1 is the approval of minutes from the January 24, 2023 regular meeting.
I'd like to entertain a motion, please.
Second.
Questions or discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Duray?
Yes.
Ms. Green? Yes. Mr. Howard?
Yes.
Mr. Lamar?
Yes.
Mr. Levinson?
Yes.
Ms. Mineo?
Yes.
Mr. Walker?
Yes.
My next agenda item is 11.2, pursuant to the resolution that the Board of Education passed last fall, starting on Friday, February 24th, the Board of Education packets for potential candidates to run for the board will be available. The trustees whose terms are expiring this year are held by Mr. Levinson, Ms. Mineo, and Mr. Walker. There will be 3 3-year terms up. You need to get 100 signatures from qualified voters in the district, and those petition packets with the signatures of 100 qualified voters would need to be returned to the office of the district clerk by April 26th at 5 p.m. If you have further questions, please contact my office. That concludes my items, Madam President.
Thank you, Mrs. Novotny. We're now at the portion of the agenda for public discussion on non-agenda items. Please refer to the procedure sheet next to the sign-in sheet, and you will see we have a 5-minute timer. So we're going to start with someone who signed up. Melody Redesciendo. Did I say your name correctly?
Yes.
Thank you.
How are you today? And thank you so much for allowing me to speak tonight. So I just wanted to address the board members. I'm actually here as a concerned parent. My son is with me. He attends Temple Hill Academy. And it seems like not only in Temple Hill, but in all the schools throughout the district, we having some discrepancy in the scheduling for the kids, which is affecting them tremendously in the music program that they take. And as a parent with my son being, somewhat of a special needs child, he is, music is one of his outlets where he feels the most comfortable and he feels like he can excel. And I have here with me another student that actually attends NFA, and she's a student that is actually on that wall here. And, conveniently enough, I just noticed that. And the point that I'm trying to make here is that the issue has been brought up by several parents from all different schools. I could mention a few others, and it seems to be like they having some problems with the schedule. The schedule is it's conflicting with the ability for them to attend certain classes like chorus, band, drum line. We have students that this is what their school prides on, where, when they go out there and do certain events, we as parents come out to see them because we want to see them perform. I come from a background where music is everything in my family, and I try to, instill that in my son. And unfortunately, in this community, in some communities in the district, a lot of parents don't have the ability to provide private lessons to the students. And this is the only way that they can actually provide a source where the kids can excel in the music program. And it seems like it's being affected tremendously due to the scheduling. And that's a problem for a lot of the parents, that I'm here to be their voice and also my son's voice to see if there's something that can be done to address that issue. And she can probably tell you a little bit more as far as how this is affecting her. It's affecting my son because just to kind of give you some numbers, we have students in the year 2021-2022 that just in band program, we had 16 members in the band program. Now we're down to 6 because the program is now an issue, and we address it to the superintendent of the school, we address it to the teachers, and they're being told, well, it's either you pick the class, you pick the band class, or you pick one of your common core curriculum classes. And I don't understand how all of these years, this was never an issue up until this year. And it has to be addressed, because otherwise we're willing to, do whatever means necessary to be able to have it the way that it should be, done in this district. There's plenty of money, there's plenty, resources that I feel every child should have the opportunity and equity provided to them within the district overall. And I'm a single parent, and I'm telling you, it's hard for a lot of us
being in this community, just to make it as is. Nonetheless, whatever resources that we have, for us not to be able to provide the kids the curriculum and the academic resources that they deserve, and it's now affecting them tremendously in that way. And I don't think it's fair. And, it's affecting them. My son is here because, he wants to play. He wants to, have that as his source for him to continue his development. And she can tell you a little bit more of the issue that's happening in NFA right now with the schedule and how it's affecting her. With the music program.
Hi, I'm Samantha Yazzo. I go to NFA Maine. I'm a junior. And this year especially, I'm noticing, growing up with what she said with the numbers, it's a bigger issue in middle schools because we only have what we get from them. And then in the high school, this year especially, all of the performing arts classes seem to overlap. So the few kids that we do have can't split their time between band and chorus, so it affects the numbers there. And also, the AP classes are the same time as the band classes, and some of them are split into a double period. And the high school is going to A and B days, so on B days we have like half the kids in whatever science lab they're in, and we're missing half of our band on some days. So that affects us in a performing standpoint too, so.
Thank you very much.
Good evening. My name is Andrea Dado. I'm a math teacher at NFA Maine, and I'm speaking to you on the perfect day in the perfect month. February 14th, a day filled with love and many hearts. The month of February, also known as American Heart Month, a time that everyone can focus on their cardiovascular health.
On April 11, 2014, 7 faculty and staff from NFA North were vital in saving my life. I had a cardiac arrest after school. These faculty and staff are the reason I stand before you alive and with no impairments, because several of them knew CPR and had used the AED, otherwise known as an automatic external defibrillator. The American Heart Association has released heart and stroke statistics in the 2002 update. According to this report, cardiac arrest remains a public health crisis. There are more than 356,000 out-of-hospital cardiac arrests annually in the United States. That's nearly 1,000 people of any age each day, with nearly 90% of them fatal. According to the American Heart Association, 70% of Americans may feel helpless to act during a cardiac emergency because they either do not know how to administer CPR or their training has significantly lapsed. I was lucky enough to have 7 individuals around that were able to act, which makes me one of the 10% of people who survive cardiac arrest. I'm very lucky indeed. January 2nd, 2023, just last month, Monday Night Football, Buffalo Bills against the Cincinnati Bengals, Damar Hamlin of the Bills suffered a cardiac arrest on the football field. I'm sure many of you are familiar with this story. The medical staff and trainers at the game have been acknowledged as the reason Damar survived. An incredible story and a frightening scene many of us witnessed. Damar was so lucky to be on the football field with so many medical personnel around to help save his life. These individuals did their job and did it extremely well. This medical emergency hit home for me because outside of football, our situations are way too similar. The biggest difference, I was not surrounded by any medical personnel, and yet had the same outcome of survival as Damar Hamlin. Why? Because as I said earlier, I was lucky to have staff that knew CPR and how to use the AED. And that is exactly why I'm here. I'm asking all of the board members and the district executive staff to make CPR and AED training a priority for every NCSC. In May 2014, 1 month after my cardiac arrest, all 7 faculty and staff were honored in the same room during a board meeting. At this meeting, the board members promised to have CPR and AED training for all NECSD employees. I realize the board members are not all the same as the ones from May of 2014, but I'm asking you to please make this promise a reality. There are so many more incidents similar to Mara Hamlin's and mine that I hear about often. Students, teachers, reps, parents, sisters, brothers that have suffered cardiac arrest and aren't as lucky as Mara and myself. Please let's give everyone in our community a chance to be as lucky as me, and please make CPR and AED training a top priority for all of our NCSD members, and I would love to be a part of the process. While we're waiting for the training to come to fruition, I'm asking everyone here to participate in Mara Hamlin's 3 for Heart Challenge, which is to do 3 things. 1, watch a 60-second video on hands-only CPR. 2, donate to the American Heart Association. 3, share that you took the challenge and ask 3 people to take the challenge as well. Thank you for your time. I look forward to hearing from you.
Mr. Ray Harding.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's an honor to be here. There's a couple things I want to bring to your attention. The one is put respect on that, all right? Because we need that. We're not going to let that incident just go away. And I want you to know that, right? Because it's important. It's important to let these little young black kids, especially females, know that we got their back. And they're brown, they're black and brown. It's important for me, it's important for the community that I represent, that we just don't let that go to waste. Because, you know, I heard all kinds of excuses why we didn't let this person go or stay on suspension until he came to tuition. I don't agree with it, but who am I, right? But I'm gonna let you know that I don't agree with it. You know, you're gonna see my face, and you're gonna continue to see my face about issues that I have with the school board, with the school itself, nothing personal. This is what I see, what people coming to me. I was informed about the new school on Ann Street, about kids not getting hot meals by the time the food gets to them, it's cold. That some of the kids there ain't getting the service that they was told that they signed up to get. That was brought to my attention. I didn't go looking for it. It came to my door. So we got to do better. We got to stop this divide, and let's just come together for the good of the community and the kids that we're supposed to be serving. I don't know how true this is, but I definitely want to fall for this. I read in the Mid-Hudson paper that our graduation rate was 76%. Come on, if that's the case, we're in trouble. We're in trouble. Because I know if the school overall is 70%, I know what it is for black and brown kids. If that's true, I don't know it's true. I don't know it's true. I'm just telling you what they're putting out there, and that's not a good look for Newburgh, for the Newburgh and our school district. I didn't go to the school, but I got a granddaughter that goes to that school, and I have two daughters that graduated from that school, and they love the school. They bragged about the school. So what are we doing different today than we did when they was in school? Right? Let's stop this pettiness among grown-ups, because we got young folks who's looking at us, and we wonder why they act a certain way. If they can't see us grown-ups sit down and have an honest discussion and come to a resolution that is best for everybody, then how do you expect them to act any different than they act? You know, that's just common sense to me. I mean, I'm just old country boy from North Carolina. But that's just common sense to me. You know, So, you know, let's work. Let's work. The community is ready to work. You know, to stand behind the board, the school district, and say let's put about sleep, let's get the work done. But we need to be part of that. We need to know. And when we ask questions, we never get answers. That has to stop. Because it doesn't make sense when the parents come out and want to know something and we can't answer their questions. That's not a good look on us. You might not have the answer tonight, but you can put it on the website or somewhere so that the parents can read that, so that they can understand that you are listening to them. Because right now, they don't feel that. And I'm telling you, what I'm hearing in the streets.
Streets are tough.
Yes.
Always.
So I'm telling you, we gotta do better, man. We gotta do better for our community as a whole. Thank you for listening. This Saturday, if you really want to meet the community, I'm having a meet and greet at 109 South Mill Street. Come out. There's going to be a lot of community people there, so come on out.
Good evening, everyone. I guess you guys know me all too well, Parent Alliance. I want to echo the same sentiments, Ray Harvey. We have to do better. And transparency is a big issue for me. And it's a big issue for the community. Now, last week in the newspaper, there were 2 more incidents at the school. I'm asking everyone inquiring, no one seems to know, but it made the newspaper. Robocalling, I have asked for everyone, not just parents, but residents that's in the vicinity of the school should know what's going on. We just had a shooting in Michigan University. Okay, Michigan has had 2 shootings within a year period. That's alarming. Parents all don't work here, they commute to the city. So when people hear about stuff in the newspaper, why is nothing coming home? See, Dutchess County, I have a nephew that goes to the school over there, and all parents are informed whether something goes on with the child or a release comes out and in the papers. If we can't do it right here, we need to start mimicking other municipalities to get it right. Now, I have a problem. We asked in January for transparency in all aspects regarding safety issues, clarity of breaking down acronyms for the community and the public. We've asked for, as well as equity and equality for our students of Black and Brown. I have a question to pose to you. What would you do as a taxpayer in your vicinity of where you reside? What do you expect for your money when your children go to school? What do you expect from that district? That's what you need to start questioning and looking at yourself at night and in the morning when you wake up and you truly look at yourself and say, you are doing the right thing by all. Now, I want to read something, and let me see if you know right off the bat after I read it what it is. Though through the words of all, we will achieve inclusive excellence, inspiring students to become tomorrow's leaders beyond academics. I hope you guys know what that is. I hope you guys know what it means. Because it's your vision and your mission.
have been a newborn mom for around 14 years. And it's been really good things that come out of the district. But when it comes to children's safety, it's nothing to shy away from. It's a serious matter. Because if something happens to my child, then it's going to be a problem for me. And I hope that you guys all take it just as serious as I do. I sent a Board of Education on Monday, waiting to speak to somebody. I sent an email out on Thursday night. Not one person, except for the Board of Education president, reached out to me and said that she was sending this over to the superintendent. Just acknowledge that I spoke. Acknowledge that I have a concern that is a real concern. And not one person, I had to choose people. I had to sit down at Board of Ed, wait to speak to that superintendent, and then I had to make 1,000 phone calls and speak to a principal. Like, why? Why is this? I don't understand. So during that conversation with the superintendent, she told my daughter to shut up and called her a liar numerous times. And wondered why security had to come sit by me. I wonder why security had to talk to me before I came into this board. Because I'm not going to sit there and let my daughter be called a liar and her to be told to shut up. She is 16 years old. She has a voice. And she should be heard.
That's right.
So on February 3rd, 3 guys pulled up in a car with ski masks on, had their hands in their pockets with a bulge. Nobody called the police. Some kid there stole $600 or something. Didn't call the police. The kids ran in because they thought they had a weapon. The security and then the principal didn't even rush them in. They just, and then I heard there was blows. Nobody wants to investigate this or tell the parent, hey, we're going to investigate this. And then back to the superintendent that called my daughter a liar. It's a punch to the face because I talked to other parents where their kids came home and said the same exact story. So my daughter's a liar. And then it wants to sugarcoat the whole story. Oh, they stopped by, they said the student wasn't there. So, after affirming her belief that's what happened, she attempted to shift the conversation on my daughter's attendance and her grades. Do we know why this Ann Street campus is here?
Yeah, exactly.
It's credit recovery. And what it has turned into, quite honestly, is this is where all the credit recovery goes and where all the behavioral goes. And it is a complete crazy, like my daughter comes home and tells me stories. She was being stalked by another student. They locked her in her classroom for a whole period and told her she is not to leave. Security told her she cannot leave the classroom under circumstances. Instead of sending the offender home or suspending her or doing something, they locked my daughter in a room and asked me to come pick her up.
Like kidnapping.
Why should my daughter be locked up when somebody else is tagging her? And of course, Mr. Woody does nothing. He called me one day,
Ms. Fred, excuse me, please don't use anybody's name.
Okay, the principal for Ann Street called and said, your daughter didn't go to so-and-so's class. Okay, where was she? Oh, I don't know, Miss Gray. I'm going to have to fax you. And talking to another parent on the phone, I didn't even share that information with her. She shared it with me and said the same thing that Mr. Woody said to me.
Okay, that's, please, thank you.
News 12. Say the names loud. Say the names
It's
loud.
loud.
Well, we're protected.
Excuse me. I can't read the last name. I'm going to say Navaya Laker.
I'm just here for I'm just here letting you know about what has been really going on Street.
Ever since my old principal got terminated from school, everything has gone through the roof and took a turn. Lately, I haven't been going to the school because me and my family think. Ever since my old principal got terminated from the school, everything has just gone through the roof and took a turn. Lately, I haven't been going to school because me and my family think it's been extremely dangerous for me to arrive. About two days ago, a handful of guys that were affiliated in some type of gang wearing ski masks came to our school and started fighting students from my school. About 10 seconds in, another student screamed that they have some type of weapon in his pocket. After they had heard what he had said, they started running at us and we had back into the building. No police were called after what just happened. They had gotten back into the vehicle and drove away. Then everyone and me got onto our buses and went home. Our principal hasn't done anything about this situation and has not spoken to any students, including me. After what we just saw, so that just shows how much they really worry. Another incident that had happened recently about a week ago, a student from my school was physically assaulted in the school bathroom and was threatened if she was to speak up and open her mouth, she'd get jumped or hurt. So then they left her in their car and then came back into my art class. The student that got physically assaulted came back into art and sat down. The other student that physically assaulted the other student tells everybody about what he had just done to her. Everyone in class started screaming and laughing, telling her to do it again. And so then she walks up to the student that she had previously assaulted, started to smack her while she was crying and still not decides to protect herself. I know how she felt and I wanted to protect her from everybody, but I just couldn't do it for my own safety, and it was also not my place to jump in. After what I just saw, my teacher decides to pick it up and separate with them. Fast forward, after I noticed that no one knew about this and all the students kept their mouth shut, I then told Mr. Woody and the security guard about what just happened.
Hello, please don't use it then with his name.
Okay. And the security guard about what just happened. A couple days later, I then realized that the girl the student has not yet been suspended, nor anyone else that had been instigating or planning this with her. Recently, I heard that Mr. Wade, the principal, the student had gotten physically assaulted by another student, letting them know that this incident had never been happening, and the student had been lying. I was there for everything. I witnessed her getting smacked in her face multiple times. Anyways, later today, which was yesterday, but she had a phone call with my principal asking if any of this has been going on. He then denied everything and called me a liar. He said that none of this even has been happening, and that he was apparently in the room when she had gotten smacked, and that I was not. I watched the whole entire thing. So my question is, why lie to my mother and say that none of these incidents had happened, and then admit that you were in when one was taking place? I watched it all go down from the start, and it was truly sad. What hurt me even more is that no justice was made, and then lied to the child's mother that got assaulted. So then after I found out about some incident that recently also took place, that I cannot speak about my own safety, I told one of the other school counselors about what has happened. He somehow did not know about any of this either, which is really confusing, since he is the school counselor. I don't feel safe here. It's just making it so much worse. Guns have been brought into here, knives have been gone into here, drugs. I've never seen this much drugs in my whole entire life. I've never seen so much kids getting bullied. I don't feel safe here at all. My parents have been making me come here every day until now. My parents are hardly convinced what made my parents crack and speak up. This is a very dangerous environment for our students. Speaking of a very, it was extremely dangerous because it was later brought into the middle school street, and that was even more dangerous because cars were beeping each other by, which I'll be inserting these videos. Yeah. The school
Excuse me, your time is up.
Thank you.
You Young lady, what's your name? Did you sign up next? Okay, board members, I'm gonna let this young lady speak because, you know, we're up to the 30 minutes, but please, go ahead.
Good evening, my name is Marlena David. I wanted to speak about multiple incidents that happened at Ann Street, Ann Street. Just about 2 weeks ago, a student was physically assaulted by another student. I also have proof of this incident. It takes place when the principal of Ann Street has been lying to parents about what has really been going on, and this concerns me a lot because what if it was me or my loved ones in this situation? Parents were not notified about of any of this. This is truly makes me question my safety as a student at Ann Street. I also wanted to address the fact that the student that physically assaulted the other students multiple times did not get punished in any sort of way. I really do not feel that this school at all is just a sprinkle of what's been going on at Ann Street. There has been guns, knives brought into the school by students in the pocket and other places. One of the security guards at the school does not do her job very well. And I also have proof of this. Another recent incident that took place about 2 weeks ago where a group of students that had been wearing ski masks, armed with weapons, came to fight another student from the school. This school has done nothing about these situations, and I do not feel secure. And I wanted to get transferred back to Maine because when I was in Maine, this was not happening. This upsets me because I can't even go to school because of the situation. It also, I've also been threatened by some of the students here at the school, and I told the principal about it, and there's been no action that took place to address this issue, and this has been really stressing me out. Mentally, please look into this situation. Thank you.
Board members, I'd like to entertain a motion to adjourn this meeting. We've had time, and this is everybody that signed up. It's a 30-minute period.
I didn't wait, I wasn't able to sign up because you guys already had.
But it's 30 minutes, that's all we have, okay? I'm sorry. Yes, sir?
Can I ask that the board recesses into executive session to maybe discuss some of the items that were discussed here tonight?
Yes, sir.
You need to be more specific as to the nature of the appropriate subject for executive session.
So basically, everybody will
The subject would be, I don't want it to sound like conditions in our schools.
That's not executive session material. Is it? Conditions in the school.
No.
Executive session has certain materials that can be discussed. It's negotiations, it's personnel, it's confidential materials. So if you have something that needs to be discussed, you can bring it up, or you can talk to the superintendent afterwards or via email. Yes, sir?
Madam President, I would like to move for suspension of the rules and allow the woman to speak. She sat here for the duration of the meeting.
Thank you.
And if she has allowing her to speak.
Okay. I need, can you poll the board to allow her to speak, please?
Mr. DeWright?
Yes.
Mr. Howard?
Yes.
Mr. Lamar?
Yes.
Mr. Levinstein?
Yes.
Mr. Nayo?
Yes.
Mr. Walker?
Yes.
Ma'am, come on, proceed.
Thank you.
Thank you, I appreciate it. My name is Shade Burks.
Thank
I'm
you.
here on behalf of Karen Alliance. I just have a few points to bring up.
I would just like to back up what Mr. Ray said. Mr. Ray Harvey said concerning the issue, we are not going anywhere concerning that issue. I have my 6-year-old son here. Where's he at? He might have been that, but he has it. And soon there'll probably be lots, because he wants lots in his ear. I'm not letting this issue go away, because I won't have him discriminated against because of his ear, and I won't have him come to school and be targeted and picked on and bullied by educators because of the way that he chooses to wear his hair. That's one thing. Also, I wanted to say that we're disappointed in the decision to keep teachers employed who have no regards for our children. That is something light and simple. All there needed to be was a simple, I'm sorry, and I didn't mean it, but to keep these teachers employed and have them come back to teach the same children that they targeted and that they bullied all over Facebook is very disturbing and is unacceptable. You guys were talking about a budget for equity. So where would that budget go to? Because it doesn't need to go to, not that it doesn't need to go to, but we have psychologists and social workers working in the school. But will this budget go to the classroom? Because once the child is put outside of the classroom and taken to the social worker or the psychologist or the principal, by that time it is too late. The behavior has already escalated to a point where the child cannot be brought back down to baseline. If you want to get an example, it's like putting someone in prison. You have a person that's still in mental health, suicide, anger, aggression, nothing is done outside of prison, but then you put them in prison, and then all the services are brought to them. What sense does it make? Because now you're being reactive instead of proactive. I thought our job as educators, as parents, are supposed to be reactive and not proactive with our children. So what are we going to do concerning the classroom? What are we going to do to get some help for these teachers to keep these children inside of the classroom? We don't need our children kicked out of class every day and called security calls on them. Security is a small word for police. If you're calling security on kindergartners and 6th grade and teenagers, what do you think they're going to answer to when they grow up and get out of the school building? They're not going to answer to anybody until the police is called. I'm going to have your teaching that you can't be tolerated and you can't be handled unless you call authority. That is unacceptable. What are we doing for our children? We are failing, and I'll continue to come and say, we are failing the black and brown children of this community. I used to just say the black and know it's the brown suffering too, and it's the low-income white suffering too. I am a parent that actually has a voice, and I come out and I fight every day because I have a son who's going through special ed, who's dealing with the same issues, and I will continue to advocate for him until I am not here anymore. But what about the parents who don't have a voice? I will continue to come up here and stand up here until I get some answers. And the fact that we have not gotten any answers, and we have been here since last year, not one. I'm on. We have been here since Thank you and have a good day.
Can I do this now? I'd like to entertain a motion to adjourn this meeting. Roll call.
Mr. Howard?
Yes.
Mr. Lamar?
Yes.
Mr. Levinson?
Yes.
Mr. Mayo?
Yes.
Mr. Walker?
Yes.
Mr. Wright?
Thank you, good evening, have a nice Valentine's Day.